The day I found out my parents gave away my entire college fund, I was standing in the kitchen holding the acceptance letter from my dream university, but instead of celebrating with me, my mother smiled and said something I will never forget. "Your sister needed it more." That was the moment I realized something painful. In my family, I was never the priority. But what they didn't know was that one day, their decision would cost them the only thing they truly cared about: their house. Growing up, it was always obvious who the favorite child was: my younger sister, Emma. Emma could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. If she broke something, it was an accident. If she failed a class, the teacher was unfair. But when I succeeded, my parents always found a way to make it feel small. Still, I worked hard, really hard. I studied every night while Emma partied with her friends. I took extra classes. I worked part-time jobs because I had one dream: to get into Ridgewood University. And when the acceptance letter finally arrived, I cried. Not because it was difficult, but because it meant everything I had sacrificed was worth it. I ran home excited to tell my parents, but the celebration I imagined never happened. Instead, my mom and dad looked uncomfortable. Then my mom cleared her throat. "We need to talk." My stomach sank. That's when my father said the words that changed everything. "We used your college fund." At first, I thought I misheard him. "What do you mean, used it?" My mother avoided eye contact. "Emma needed help starting her boutique." I stared at them in disbelief. "You gave my college money to Emma?" My father sighed like I was the problem. "It's an investment for the family." I felt my chest tighten. That fund had been built for 18 years. 18 years. And they handed it to my sister for a clothing shop she might abandon in 6 months. I looked at Emma. She was sitting there scrolling on her phone like none of this mattered. No apology, no guilt, nothing. "Don't be selfish," my mom added. "You can always take loans." That sentence broke something inside me, so I left the house. And that night, I made a decision. If my family didn't care about my future, I would build one without them. The next few years were brutal. I took student loans, worked 2 jobs, and barely slept. There were nights I cried from exhaustion. But every time I thought about quitting, I remembered my parents giving away my future like it meant nothing. And it pushed me forward. Eventually, things started changing. After graduating, I landed a job at a real estate investment firm. At first, I was just an assistant, but I worked harder than anyone. Within 5 years, I became a partner, and I made more money than I ever imagined. Meanwhile, Emma's boutique closed after 8 months, just like I predicted. But my parents never apologized. They acted like nothing happened. One evening, I got a phone call from an old neighbor. "Did you hear about your parents?" Apparently, they had taken a huge loan to support Emma's next business idea, and they used their house as collateral, the same house they always bragged about, the house they told me I would never inherit, because according to them, I didn't deserve it. Well, the business failed again, and the bank was about to foreclose their home. Normally, I would have ignored it. But something about the situation felt poetic. Because the investment firm I worked for, we were the ones buying foreclosed properties, including theirs. The day of the auction, my parents had no idea I was involved. They sat in the back of the room looking desperate. Emma was arguing with someone on her phone, probably blaming someone else again. When the bidding started, the room went quiet. One by one, investors dropped out, until only one buyer remained: me. When the final hammer hit the table, I officially owned my parents' house. Their faces went pale when they realized who had bought it. My mom walked up to me in shock. "You can't do this to us." I tilted my head. "Why not?" "You're our son." I smiled calmly, the same calm smile my father had when he told me they spent my college fund. "Don't be selfish," I said. "You can always take loans." For the first time in my life, they had nothing to say. I didn't kick them out immediately. I gave them 3 months to find another place, because unlike them, I still had a conscience. But I never gave the house back. Instead, I renovated it and rented it out. And every time the rent payment hits my account, I'm reminded of something important. Sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the same people who unknowingly build your success. My parents took my future away once, but in the end, it became the reason I built a better one.